Why do you think it is so difficult for people on different sides of the political divide to engage with the other side?
I guess it's just because they don't come into an argument to be convinced. They don't want to change their opinions. They only want to change the other party's opinion. But the other party's doing the same thing.
Okay. I would guess that most politicians are smart enough to understand this too. So why is there still such difficulty in communication?
I'm not sure if most smart politicians can understand this. Does this imply that our politicians are probably not very rich of wit?
Is there any sort of carrot that we can give the politicians to make them more willing to work with the other side?
I don't really know.
Should politicians be punished for not being able to reach agreements?
Yeah, we can do that.
How would you punish them?
We can set a deadline. So before this, if you don't come to an agreement, we're gonna fine you.
That's an interesting thought. Put people in jail and fine them. Okay, good. Why is it so difficult for people on different sides of the political divide to communicate?
Most of the time, they only want to win. They're not trying to solve problems. So if you see not only Taiwan, but maybe Americans, place like that, when like team A say this thing is white, the other team will always say that it is black. But most of the time, it's not the thing is not only white or only black. It's something between.
Okay. How do we force them to see the gray?
I'm not sure. Maybe punishment. I can't think of a other way.
How would you punish them?
You go medieval on them.
I'm also not sure.
Why is it so difficult for politicians to agree or even talk?
Because I think they, instead of fighting for ideas or causes, they fight for themselves. So maybe they need to, instead of just like politics, like every party should be like, under one system. So instead of like working for this party or being with this party your whole life, all politicians have to rotate parties so that they don't align their, personally with the party.
So you need to mix up the teams.
Yeah, it's like in middle school, you always paired up different people so that, a lot of different people get to learn how to work with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't like personally tie the ideas of the party to themselves or, try to attack the other person. Because, they gotta think, maybe next week I'll be on the same group as them. Or maybe they just take each other too seriously, and when they debate, they should all wear funny costumes. Like one guy should be dressed as Shrek, another guy should be dressed as a chicken, things like that.
Okay.
Relax a little.
Do you think that people join political parties because they believe in certain things? Or do you think they start to slowly agree with certain things because they've been inside a party for a long time?
I don't think it matters the message of the party. They're part of this team now, and if the party loses, they think that they lose. It's like, like different countries, if they play sports, they can hire people of other countries to play for their country team. So, and if they play for that team and they lose, I imagine they still be disappointed, right? Because their team lost.
But that would create a situation where they're just trying to win. Then there's no ideals or beliefs behind what they're fighting for.
The ideals will be set by like the groups.
Which groups?
So the groups itself. So you need a bunch of groups representing a bunch of different ideas, and you need to hire politicians to fight for those groups, kind of like lawyers.
So who decides who goes into which groups?
Randomize. Leave it up to fate. Because eventually people need to understand that they can't control everything. And maybe putting this into effect will make people realize that. And plus, sometimes you gotta experiment. Some combinations give you good results.
So you're saying that we should play with real politics like it's model UN.
Model UN.
Yes, the model United Nations.
Model. Oh, well, yeah, maybe because like you're talking about where they send kids to like the UN thing.
To pretend that they're delegates.
Yeah. And those are usually pretty friendly and they're pretty happy. And the kids get to try wearing suits and the people get to film them and get some money. So in that situation, it's a win-win for everyone. Maybe that can be a win-win found here. And the kids don't actually hate each other.